Tolkien tells the story of J.R.R Tolkien, the famous author of The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, his early life, his school days, and the close bonds of love and friendship that were formed with his school friends and with the woman he loved. I didn't have much interest in this film going in. I do like the Lord of the Rings films a lot, and I even like the Hobbit films too, but this just didn't seem that interesting on paper. But I was pleasantly surprised when I was quickly pulled into the story, and I found that I really started to care about these characters and their relationships. Nicholas Hoult plays Tolkien, and he's always pretty good, and here he excels at playing a guy who is probably smarter than everybody else, but is still very human and relatable. Lily Collins plays Edith, the woman he loves, and they have good chemistry together, and I like the conversations that they have about what their lives are and what's expected of them and how they learn from each other about language, and I found their romance to be very believable. The actors who play Tolkien's school friends, both as boys and as young men, were great, and I love the dynamic of their group. They're very intellectual, but they're also very funny. It's kind of like something out of Dead Poets Society, but it's not all about poetry, so it's actually interesting. I like their hope and their optimism and the way they encourage each other to be brave. I just thought it was cool. It kind of made me wish that I was part of a group like that. It's a strange film because it's mostly focused on Tolkien and his life, and not as much on Lord of the Rings as I originally thought it would be. I thought it would go through a series of events that you could tell directly influenced Tolkien and his writings, but there are references to things from his stories, like seeing a dragon on a World War I battlefield, or a character called Sam helping him on a difficult journey, or the way that his friends refer to their group as a fellowship. But these things aren't the focus of the story, and the filmmaking doesn't try to make them seem super important. They're just there, but we're focused more on the friendship and the love story. It isn't like Finding Neverland, where we see the inspiration for the story and then watch it develop with representations of the fictional characters and events playing out in real life to influence and inspire the author. We don't see Tolkien writing The Hobbit. Everything that happens in the film happens before he even starts to write these books. I didn't know very much about Tolkien's life other than that he wrote these books and that he fought in World War I. So I didn't know exactly how things were going to end up with Edith or with his friends. So it was maybe a bit more interesting to me than it would have been to someone who did already know the story. So I really got into the drama of whether or not he and Edith are going to end up together, and his struggle to balance his education with his personal relationships, and I'm glad that it didn't focus too much on the World War I scenes, because that was probably the part that I was the least interested in. I was surprised the film focuses more on the importance of language than on storytelling in general. There are conversations about words and what they signify, but that experience shapes how we feel about certain words, and that's kind of where storytelling comes into it. And I liked all that. It moves along at a good pace. I was never bored, except maybe at the very beginning a little bit, because I still wasn't expecting much, and I liked the music. It was appropriate to what's happening in the scenes, and it doesn't try to give things an air of importance or gravitas that they really don't need. I'm going to give Tolkien a B. I liked it, and the fact that it's Tolkien and Lord of the Rings adds weight to it, as true stories often do, but I think that if you took this story, this film, and shifted some things around, it probably would work on its own merits, maybe if it was a story about a fictional author. One of the reasons I wasn't really excited for this film was that I tried to read Lord of the Rings when I was younger and just found it to be really boring. I mean, I like the films a lot, but the books just never really seemed to have very much emotion. But now that I'm older, and after watching this film, I'm kind of inspired to maybe give it another go and try to read them again. Thank you very much for watching my review. Please like and subscribe. It helps the channel grow. And follow me on Twitter at LukeToTheMovies. Comment down below and let me know if you've seen Tolkien, what you thought of it, if you liked it, disliked it, if you agree or disagree with any of my comments, or if you have any points of your own. Also, let me know what author would you like to see them make a biopic about next, and why. I'll be back soon with more reviews, and I'll see you then.